Welcome to channel Samson Strength. My name is Samson. I want to talk about words today. Words. I like words. We don't discriminate against words. My wife has an MFA from SAIC in creative writing. We love words. What about words like, I don't know, bitch or cunt? You know, those are like bad words. Tend to hurt feelings, you know. Call a woman like a bitch or a cunt. And if I call a woman a bitch or a cunt, I mean, what is that? What kind of information does that, provide? Because all it really means is that's my opinion, right? What is it saying about somebody if you're like, yeah, you know, that woman's a bitch or that person's a cunt or whatever, right? Doesn't mean they are. It just kind of means I think that. Well, I want to compare the consequences of that, or the pain and everything caused by somebody using the word bitch or a cunt, to a different word. Let's say the word rapist, right? Because anybody can use that word. That tree raped me. That butterfly raped me. There's not even a butterfly, but you know, some people are fucking delusional, right? So you see where I'm going with that. You know, a woman uses the word rapist, whether she was raped or not, and she pairs it with emotion, right? Not anger, some other emotion, and you can destroy lives, right? So that's why, you know, those words, bitch, cunt, words like that, I don't discriminate against those words. Those words, if my wife is being a bitch and I tell her, because I'm like really upset with her and I can't really talk to her, that actually provides a lot of information. No, I don't do that. I don't have to do that because my wife and I are married and we actually care how each other feels. We care about each other's feelings, and so we talk about them, and you know, it's actually not difficult. A functional relationship is not difficult. And yeah, you know, if I call my wife a bitch in the heat of an argument and it turns out that you think she's going to divorce me for doing that? Maybe, I guess. Like, is that abusive doing that? Yeah, if it's a habit, if it's like, but it's actually kind of normal to fight and say mean things. That's actually perfectly normal. And it's actually a lot more normal than a lot of my other relationships, right? So I want to thank my wife again for, you know, being the crazy bitch that she can be sometimes, right? And I'm also sorry for being an asshole sometimes, but I'm really glad, sweetie, that you can let me know. And you're not going to use words like a lot of women use words, dishonestly and deceitfully and duplicitously. And that's really, you know, that, because that is like men using their fists or threatening violence. And that's just wrong. And men shouldn't do that, and men should go to jail for that. And I think, you know, women should have consequences for the results of their decisions to weaponize words to the point where it puts people in jail for crimes they didn't commit. It drives men to suicide every single day. Men commit suicide due to false allegations. And we need to stop. And that's one of the things that we need to start just not tolerating. We don't tolerate men hitting women. We need to stop tolerating women lying about men. Because here's the thing. Men don't mind living in a cave. Here's the thing women don't understand. Men don't mind living in a cave. We'll go live in a cave. That's where we're headed, ladies. Right? You need to understand that. We're headed back to the times where we all lived in caves. And the thing is, men don't mind living in a cave. So just think about that. Like Old Testament, they lived in caves and stuff in the Old Testament. Samson out.